a couple of days ago, Drake dropped his latest album, For All the Dogs, and everyone kind of got what they expected, I feel. The general consensus is that it's a very okay album. This album was meant to be a return to form for Drake of sorts. It was promoted as an album for all the people who were asking for the old Drake, and we did kind of get that. But that's partially the problem. Literally the next day, Joe Budden on his podcast just tore into the album and essentially said that Drake is about to be 37 years old, and he's still rapping about things that he was rapping about over 10 years ago. He's not really maturing. He's rapping for the younger audience, and we would love to see Drake kind of mature in that sense. In the past, Drake would actually like rap, and that was kind of the thing that everyone would be like, oh no, Drake is here. We got to listen to Drake. At least, paraphrasing what he said. In my opinion, I think Joe's kind of right. I would have loved to see Drake give us more grown-up bars, rap about something else for once, and just be a rapper. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Drake, and whenever I do listen to Drake, I do tend to like his more rapping songs, more so than his pop or R&B's like singing-ish songs. So, for me, that would have been a great album. Because, he's probably gone through a lot in life in the last couple of years. He has a son now, and he barely talks about him, really. Not that he needs to, but, again, he is nearing his late 30s. He's gone through more in life than just being in the club and all the other general stuff that he talks about, like relationships. Like, you can still do your relationship raps, but maybe look at it from a different point of view. Maybe the point of this album was really just to give people the old Drake. And maybe this is part of why he's going to be taking a short break. He's mentioned that he's going to take a little bit of a break due to some commitments that he has to keep, as well as just general health issues. He wants to take care of himself. So, stuff that makes total sense, and I totally agree with. You got to do what you got to do. But the other thing that I thought about when I saw that was maybe Drake is going to take a back seat for a minute and kind of think about what he wants to do going forward. He also mentioned earlier in the year that he's been thinking about or playing with the idea of a retirement or a graceful exit, I believe is what he said. And maybe he's getting to that point in his career where he's like, okay, I'm done. Or he could be thinking of this as a transitionary period to where maybe we will get more mature music. Now, going back to the whole Joe Budden thing, very quickly, Drake responded and basically called Joe a washed-up failure of a rapper who has to just talk about music rather than make music because his music wasn't doing well. That's kind of fucked up because I think Joe was doing okay. He was, for all intents and purposes, a pretty solid rapper. And him going into the podcast realm was more of, in my mind, him realizing, my music is not what people want to hear. So I'm just going to go and do the other thing that I enjoy doing. He's been doing Joe Budden TV for almost as long as he's been rapping. So this isn't a normal transition for him, I feel. But with that in mind, maybe Drake is going after Joe because Joe didn't necessarily understand what Drake was trying to do with this project. Because again, if this was meant to be more of a return to the old Drake sound, he did do a pretty okay job of that. I mean, to be fair, it's nothing mind-blowing. It's not like any of his previous projects, like the ones that everyone loves. But it is more of that sound that people tend to like. And there is a good amount of rapping on it. My biggest issue with the album was that it's just too long. I don't need 23 tracks of Drake. I don't need an hour and a half of him. Especially when every song is kind of similar. I mean, I understand at the end of the day, commercial rap and streams are important, but it's a whole thing. But regardless, I don't think that either person in this debate, this beef, whatever you want to call it, is wrong. Because, again, on one hand, Joe Budden is totally right. Drake is at a point in his life where maybe he should consider rapping about other things. I mean, he's 37 soon. He has a lot of stuff that's happened to him over the past few years, at least, as well as like his whole life. Maybe it's time for him to go back and reflect on it in a less toxic manner. But then on the other hand, Drake is making the music that is popular. Drake is making music that is going to sell. He's doing it, well, one, for the money, but two, because people are going to still listen to it. But again, maybe that's why he's taking a break. Maybe he's taking a break to reassess his career and what he wants to do in the future. It's all just kind of up in the air, but right now Drake is just going to keep throwing shots at Joe. And he's got to laugh. But that's all I've got. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this beef. Is it real? Are they just fucking around? Is it going to keep going? Is Drake ever going to give up? And what do you think he's going to sound like whenever he does come back from that break? And while you're down there, like and subscribe to see more rambling and content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.